Okay, so good day everyone. So today we are going to discuss about partnership liquidation in a form of lump sum. No? So last time on our last discussion or last video, we have discussed about partnership dissolution, and we have said na ang partnership dissolution is different from partnership liquidation in a sense that partnership dissolution does not stop the business operations of the partnership. Whereas in the partnership liquidation, gin-discuss na to nga nag-stop ang business, no? So wala nagka-continue and naga-hati-ay there is a partnership liquidation ang mag-partners. So let's continue our discussion. According to ang mga common ang mga kinahanglan naton tandaan, especially the accounting for the business partnership liquidation, I mean. So first, so the conversion of assets into cash is referred to as realization. So when we say of realization in accounting, it means that we are converting, we are converting sang aton nga mga non-cash assets into cash, or ginabaligya naton, ginabaligya naton aton nga mga non-cash assets into cash, so that ang cash nga nakuha naton, ang cash nga natipon naton, amo naman na siya ang aton nga ipanghatag or ipangbayad like sa aton nga mga creditors, and ang kung may mabilin amo nang makadto sa aton nga mga partners. So the payment claims is referred to as liquidation, or in other words, ang liquidation is the complete winding up process. So sa accounting, when we say of liquidation, it is the process, process ng winding up sa operations. So meaning ginaano na naton ang liquidation amo na siya ang aton nga ginagamit nga process, especially kapag nag-close, nag-close ang business, nag-close ang partnerships business, amo na siya ginapanghatag na naton sa aton mga partners ilang mga kwarta, ginapangbalikta na, ginapang bayaran ta aton nga mga utang, aton nga mga obligations, ginapang settle naton. So what are the basic procedures, so the mga basic na knowledge ang kailangan naton in the process of liquidation? So first, so the sharing of gains and losses. Kinahanglan balaan naton kung ano aton nga paghatiay sang gains and losses, or base bala may mga na-incur kita nga mga gains and losses, may mga nabaligya pa kita nga inventory before the winding up process or before the liquidation. So kinahanglan na siya ma-reflect onto their capital accounts. So advanced planning when the partnership is formed. So ang balde na before ko mag-form sang partnership, it is very important nga maistoryahan man sang partners in case nga mag-close ang business or mag-liquidate ang business, ano bala ang ilang mga ubrahon, ano bala ilang mga agreement, kinahanglan naka-written form ang ilang ginagrihan in terms or in times nga mag-liquidate ng ilang business. So third is rule on set off, rule on set off. Ano nisang set off yung tawag? So kung ang partnership may utang bala si partnership sa kay partner, or may utang si partner sa partnership, so kinahanglan ina naton nga ipangbayaran in terms of adding or deducting to their respective capital accounts. Next is we need to consider the liquidation expenses. So basta may mga necessary cost pa kita nga magamit during the liquidation process. Marshalling of assets, so later ipang-discuss ko na siya, and the distribution of cash or other assets to the partners kung may mabilin. Okay. So next, so when we say of sharing of gains and losses, so when a partnership is liquidated, so the book should be adjusted and has closed the net profit or loss from the period in the manner they have agreed in the partnership agreement. So it should be carried to the partners' capital accounts. So following the profit and loss sharing ratio in allocating gains and losses incurred during the liquidation, it is the most equitable manner for the following reasons. Number one, the cumulative profit and loss of a partnership during its existence is the difference between the total capital contribution and the total capital withdrawal. So later sa sa illustration amo ni sang pinakauna naton nga obrahon sa mag-compute during the liquidation. So certain gains and losses during the liquidation process actually may have occurred during the normal operation period. So mutong hambal ko kagina basi bala may mga na-incur sila, may mga na-gain sila and na-loss during that certain period before the liquidation ang natabo. So kinanglan ina mag-reflect on their capital amounts. So next, so advanced planning of the partnership is formed. So iniquities among partners may arise during the liquidation. So if a deficit balance is created in partner's capital account, and that partner cannot contribute to eliminate the deficit. So the partners who do not have deficit balance in their capital accounts must absorb the deficit balance of the partners who does. So in other words, they must absorb losses larger than their agreed upon profit and loss ratio. That's why very important nga may ara sang agreement before mag-start ang process or ang partnership para later on kung mag-liquidate na di sila mabudlayan hindi madula ining mga ginatawag nga inequities ang mga unforeseen nga mga expenses nga mga losses. So at least na nila na istoryahan kung ano ang obrahon in times nga mag-liquidate sila. Next, so rule on set off. So when a partnership has a loan outstanding or receivables a partner, so the partnership receivable should be subtracted or set off from the partner's capital. The same with this. So when a partner has a loan outstanding, so dari naman ang butslingon sini kung si partner nagpautang sa partnership. So the loan may or may not rank on equal level with other partnership liabilities such as the order of priority. So it depends on whether the partner's loan is subordinate to the other partnership liability. So iyambot silingon kung may ara kuno sang utang si partnership may utang sa individual partner. So depende pa na kung mabayaran sa insigida nga man kinanglan unahon na yan ni partnership ang utang sa mga outside mga creditors mga outside nga mga obligations, mga outside nga mga third party nga mga creditors kinanglan sila pangunahon before naton panghatagan or bayaran ang utang ni partnership sa individual nga partner. So thus other partnership liabilities are assumed to have priority over partners' loans to the partnerships. Accordingly, the following priority system occurs under the assumption. So first nga nga bayaran owed to creditors other than the partners, So amounts owed other than for capital and profits, amounts owed to partners as capital, and amount owed to partners as profits not currently close to partners' capital account. So matuunan na sa diya diri sa pang third or sa pang fourth after na yasang creditor nga outside mga third party nga creditors kinanglan unahon gina sila yasang bayaran. So liquidation expenses. So certain costs incurred during the liquidation process should be treated as a reduction of the proceeds from the sale of non-cash assets, such as costs to complete the inventory. So mga cost para mabaligya ang remaining inventory, commissions and shipping costs related to disposal of inventory, escrow, so entitled transfer fees associated with the sale of real property. So when you say of escrow, amo na siya it is a third party third party nga mga tao or third party nga mga businesses or companies nga dara na aton ginahatag ang aton nga mga bayad such as mga real property tax. So sila na din bahala mag-process ang aton nga mga real property taxes. Samo nang tatawag na escrow. In costs of removing the equipment. So other liquidation costs should be treated as an outright expense. Okay. So next, marshalling of assets. Ano siyang marshalling of assets? So the provisions that calls for the contribution of personal assets to a liquidating partnership illustrates the characteristics of unlimited liability. So the order of priority concerning the availability of the assets for each class of creditors is as follows. So partnership assets, so partnership creditors, no? Personal creditors that did not recover their claims in full from personal assets. When we say of marshalling, no, sang assets in times or in times na kulangon na ang kwarta ni partnership, the partners is obligated to contribute, no, to contribute to the partnership using their personal nga mga assets, no. Sila nga mga personal nga kwarta to form the ano, to pay na ang kulang ng mga liabilities nila, to pay ang mga kulang ng mga necessary nga bayaran, no. That's why already ko, no, ga conform na siya sa ginatawag nga unlimited liability of the partners. So personal assets, so ang pangunahon na personal creditors, partnership creditors, and amount owed to partners by way of contribution. Next. So distribution of cash or other assets to the partners. So here, so distribution of cash or other assets to partners. So a partner may choose to receive certain non-cash assets, such as computers or office equipment in kind, rather than to convert such property to cash. So may ara man ano, in matabo ni siya in case nga nabayaran na tanan-tanan nga ano nga mga utang ni partnership. So para hindi na ako na magdugay ang pag-liquidate, no. So the partners can either choose nga kaysa ibaligya pa nila ang assets, no, nga madugay-dugayan pa before makakuha cash. Okay na sila nga makabaton sila certain assets, kaya sa mga computer, office furniture, no, or inang mga kisaga ni ila na iya nga gid pang contribute sa partnership nga later on kung ano nila. So part pa na sa sang liquidation sang partners, sang capital accounts nila. In setting a partner's claim against the partnership, so the partners may agree to the distribution of non-cash assets. So if so, the carrying value of the asset should be adjusted to the fair value, and the amount of the adjustment allocated to all the partners in accordance with the partnership agreement or based on their profit and loss ratio. So there are two kinds of liquidation. Number one, lump sum, which is amo nang i-discuss na today, no? When we say of lump sum, simple or total liquidation, isahan lang. No, when we say of lump sum, inang isahan ng bala kabayaran ay bultuhan nga pagbayad. So no distributions are made to the partners until the realization process is completed when the full amount of the realization gain or loss is known. Kumbaga ibaligya ni tanan nga mga non-cash assets, ubuson tanan nga mga non-cash assets until such time nga wala na sila inog-realize, then that's the time nga mangbayad na sila sang ilang mga kautangan, then maghatiay na sila dayon sang remaining in case ka may mabilin. So the second one is the installment liquidation. So distributions are made to some or all of the partners as cash become available. So the cash distributions are made to the partners before the full amount of the realization gain or loss is known. So indri naman niya sa installment, wala sila gahulat nga mabaya nga maubos tanan, baligya. No? So dire sa installment ng pwedeng as long na may cash na sila nga available, no. So sa pulo nila dabi sa 10 nilang ano nga assets, nakabaligya na sila nga daan tatlo, so may cash na sila nga available. So pwede na sila umpisa liquidate amat-amat, no, as long na may available nga cash. So nag-discuss ta lump sum, no. So what is a lump sum liquidation? So a lump sum liquidation is one which all assets are converted into cash within a very short time, and the creditors are paid, and a single lump sum payment is made the partners for their capital interests. So lump sum liquidations are very rare, no, or non-existent nga man. In case, no, in actual or in real life, hindi man na siya agad-agad nga in a very very short time, no, very short time kuno tanan nga assets is ma-convert into cash, medyo madugay na siya nga process. So ang pinaka-realistic nga liquidation is the installment, amat-amat, no. So ngaman kuno rare or non-existent because the partners liquidate their loan and capital accounts as cash becomes available for distribution. So usually partners have personal needs for cash, and there is no sound business reason to wait until the very last asset is converted into, so before distributing any cash to the partners. So muna siya na very rare nga pinsanon danay baligya, then Pangnagtag tayo. So very rare na siya. So the following procedures may be followed in the lump sum liquidation. So number 1, realization and distribution of gain or loss. Pangabalik ko kagina kinanglan may arabala gain or loss, no, on the basis of profit or loss ratio. So payment of liquidation expenses if any. Then liabilities to third parties, mga creditors outside, no, mga third parties, no. Then elimination of capital deficiencies, kung may mga kakulangan, no, kasi may pwede man sila ipang offset, no, mga pang offset nila. And lastly, so payment to partners, may loan accounts bala or capital accounts. So to illustrate, to assume the data for QRS partnership, so si Q, si R, and the S may partnership. So they had the condensed balance sheet just before the liquidation on November 1, 2004. So thus reports the balance says as follows. So mayroon sila 90,000 nga assets, no? Then mayroon sila 20,000 nga cash, and may 70,000 sila nga non-cash assets. So inang 70,000 nga non-cash assets amo na kinahanglan nila ibaligya, i-convert, no, para bayaran ang loans, no, mga liabilities nila. Si Q loans, when we say of Q loans, si partnership may utang kay Q. So si capital, Q capital, R capital, S capital. Then ari ilang mga profit and loss ratio. So the percentages in parentheses after the partner's capital balances represent their respective interests in profit and losses. So partnership and all partners personally solvent. So in case 1 to 3 of this illustration, so the partnership kuno is solvent, meaning may mga own personal assets sila nga pwede i-contribute into the partnership para bayaran in case nga magkulang ila capital balances. No? So all partners make capital investment have either loans with the partnership or are personally solvent so that the capital deficit from losses incurred is eliminated by investment. So when we say of that, nga solvent sila, they have their own personal assets nga ready, no, nga ipang cover sa ilang mga negative nga capital balances. Case 1. So the gain on realization fully allocated to the partner's capital balances. So the non-cash assets were realized at 80. No? Kung mapansin nyo kagina, ang 70,000 nga non-cash assets na convert nila into cash nga 80,000. So ang brahon, no, you must prepare the statement of realization and liquidation. So paano cluster are? So first column, balances before the liquidation. Di ni kuha ng data dito sa ilang financial position. So hambal dire, ang 70,000 nga non-cash assets nabaligya at 80. Bilog nga nabaligya at 80. So magadugang ila cash by 80,000, so 100, no? Then ang non-cash assets ma-zero out na siya for the reason nga nabaligya na siya. So may gain nga how much? 10,000. No? Ang balaton, inang nag-gain nila nga 10,000, kinanglan inaanon tungaon or i-allocate between the capital balances ni partners. So makato kay Q is 3,000, 5,000, and 2,000 respectively. So ang ila capital balances are given, no? Now, next nga obrahon, di ba? Bayaran kuno danay si outside creditor. Sino ding outside creditors? Siyempre si liabilities, no? Mga non-trade liabilities or mga trade liabilities, pangunawa na sila. So bayaran naton 10,000 and at the same time maiban aton nga cash by 10,000. So pila na lang ang balanse? 90,000 na lang ilang nga cash, no? Next, wala na ibang liabilities. But si partnership may utang kay Q, no? May Q loan nga account. So anong brunda? Bayaran ina danay ni partnership. So na iban sa sang 2. So 88 na lang ang balance sang cash, no? So ma-close na ang Q loan nga account. Just follow, no? Follow nyo lang upon ginapang red. So amo na siya ang pagpasunod sa pag-process. So kay wala na inugbayad sa outside creditors or sa mga loans. So that's the time, no? That's the only time nga ining remaining nga cash nga 88,000, it will go directly to the capital balances ni partners. So ari de, as you can see, no? Inhati-hati nila ang remaining capital balance nila at 11, 45, and 32. Then ma-zero out na ilang cash. And the liquidation process is or has ended. Tapos na. nag-close na ila nga business. But in actual, no, in actual setup, it does not end once nga ma-realize na nila or makaliquidate na sila, no? So the moment saan o sila mag-stop operation, no? So the moment nga ma-close na nila formally their business sa mga government agencies like the BIR, the DTI in case nga ano, no? DTI, no, mga business name nila na pang-close nila, and sa BIR na-inform nila ang BIR nga nag-close na ang business. So case number 2, loss on realization creates a deficit balance in partner's capital account. So requiring transfer from partner's loan account or right of offset is exercised. So the non-cash assets were realized at 40,000. Excuse me. Okay, so here, no, so ang non-cash assets nila nga 70,000, nabaligya nila at 40, no? So anong natabo? Nabaligya nila ila non-cash assets at less than its value, no? So nagkaroon sila sang loss as reflected on the statement of realization and liquidation. So the same, no, let's start from their balances before liquidation. First, ginbaligya nila ang non-cash assets nga 70,000, ubos gid, no? So, ubos gid siya at 40,000. So may loss nga 30,000. So anong ubrahon sa loss nga 30,000? It must be divided still during the using their profit and loss ratio. So mag 9K kay Q, 15 kay R, and 6 kay S. So anong natabo, no? Anong natabo? So si Q may negative na ngayon nga 1,000. Si R kag si S ya positive man Japon nga 25 and 24, no? Now, so diin makuha si Q sang pangbayad sang iya nga deficit nga account. So pwede, no? Kay given sa problem nga si Q may ara sang pagasulukton pa kay partnership nga 2,000. So pwede pa na niya nga gamiton to cover up, no, ang iya nga balanse. So amo na siya daanggin ubra. So ginbayaran danay si liabilities, no? So may remaining pa nga 50, then na-close ang liabilities. Now, instead of paying Q, no, sang 2,000, gin-offset danay iya capital deficit nga 1,000 using ang iya nga loan nga balanse. So pila na lang iya balanse? 1,000. Then next step, bayaran adto ang remaining nga loan nga 1,000. So ang remaining cash nila 49. Then ang remaining 49,000 tungaon na lang ni R based on their capital accounts. 25 and 24. Kaya wala naman other nga bayaran na settle na. Okay? So let's proceed. Case 3. Loss on realization creates a deficit balances in the partner's capital account. So requiring transfer from partner's loan account. No? So right of offset exercised and additional capital investment is required and made. So the non-cash assets we realize at 30,000. So the personal assets and liabilities of the partners on this date are as follow. So si Q may ara sa sang 240 nga personal, R is 180 and si S nga 90. So may utang sila nga 200, 190 and 90 at the same time. No? So solvent sila. May mga personal assets sila nga pwede nila gamiton. Now, what happened here? So from 70, no? From 70K nga non-cash assets ginbaligya nila at 30. So 30 lang ang cash nga nabaligya nila, 30 lang ang cash nga nakuha nila on their 70,000. So may loss nga 40 nga paghahation man Japon ni Q, ni R kag ni S. So 12K ang kay Q, 20 ang kay R, 8,000 ang kay S, no? So negative na si Q nga 4. No? Negative na siya, so iya loan is 2,000. So di niya kwaon. Kung may personal asset siya as given di sa babaw, pwede nga mag-contribute lang siya sang cash once nga ma-fulfill niya na or maubos niya na tanan nga mga sulukto niya sa partnership. But in case nga wala siya sang kwarta, wala siya sang personal assets, no? Assuming wala si Q ang personal assets, 0-0 siya, hindi sa solvent. So ining 4,000 less ang iya nga loan ni partnership nga 2,000, so may remaining man siya Japon nga deficit nga 2, no? Inang 2 nga na paghahation ina ni R kag ni S, no, sa ilang own capital accounts by way of their profit and loss ratio nga nabilin, which is 50-20 or 5:2 or 2:5, no? Muna siya. Kaso there is a problem, may personal assets pa si Q. So pwede pa na siya ka-contribute just to close, no, ang iyang mga liabilities. Now, so balances, next, mabayad siya sang third party, no, liability. So 40 na lang nabilin. So balances, no, balances. So next, i-offset adtong loan ni Q. So madula na ning 2, then makadto siya capital account, may negative man sa Japon nga capital account. So ano yung ginobra? Nag-contribute siya or nag-additional investment sa by 2,000. So may cash nga additional 42. So zero na siya, ano, wala na siya account, wala na siya balance. And the remaining 42, hati-hation na siya ni R kag ni S using their capital balances respectively. Ara siya. So 20 and 22. Guys, very important nga may ano ka mo ha, balaan nyo ang basic nga tawag dito nga, di ba sa inyo basic accounting, gaobra man kamo ni nga table, hindi lang siya galing realization and liquidation, no? Naga-record ka mo di sang journal entries, di ba? Kung matandaan nyo on your first year or on your senior high school, gaobra ka mo di sang ginatawag nga two-way nga pag-record sang transactions. So let's proceed, no? So loss on realization creates a deficit balance in the partner's capital account. So requiring transfer of partner's loan account, right of offset with revaluation of assets. So may revaluation of assets. So ano na siya? No? So the following data are available before the liquidating of the partnership. So the prepaid expenses amounted to 7,000 were refunded to the partnership with the exception of 1,200 that was forfeited. So R agreed to personally take certain equipment having 5,000 book value and the partner estimated current value is 6,000. So S agreed to personally take certain furniture having a 3,000 nga book value nga may 2,500 nga current value. And the remaining non-cash assets were realized at 27,000. Now, how to do the statement of realization and liquidation. So the same, beginning balances. So anong obrahon nga una? 'Di ba nag-increase to ang equipment? Iya dating 5,000 nga book value, kanda 6,000 na siya. So nag-increase siya by 1,000. So anong obrahon silang increase sa 1,000? Madugang sila own nga capital accounts, no? Own nga capital accounts. Next. Sala na gani ni nga problem. Sorry. So amo nila mga capital balances. Next. So from 3,000 nga book value, nag-decrease siya by 500 kay iya to current value, iya nga current fair value is 2,500 lang. So gin-reflect man di 500 and reflected on their capital accounts. So let's have the balances. 20, 75, 70,500, the 10, the 2, okay? So given. Next. Baldi. So the prepaid expenses ko no, na-refund, no? Ang iya na-refund is pila. So prepaid expenses amounted to 7,000, na-refund ko no. Pero hindi bilog na 7,000 ang na-refund, kundi ang 1,2 is na forfeit, no? Na forfeit ang 1,2. So ang na-refund lang nga total is 5,800. So ang remaining na forfeit hati-hation by the partners using their capital accounts. So ara man ila balances. Next. Received non-cash assets. Ano yung received non-cash assets? Baldiri, nagbato na lang si R nga 5,000 na lang using that asset and 3 no base kay S. no? Pero ang ila value is 6,000 and 2,500. Kaya tungod na adjust na on their capital accounts, no? So pila ang nag-iban sa ila? 8,500, no? 8,500. And ang 8,500 are nakuha ni R. Ni R is 6,000, are reflected man de. And 2,500 kay S, which is are. Yan. Now, so balances after the receipt of non-cash assets, siya. And habaldi, no? Ang remaining ko, no, na non-cash assets, which amounts to 55,000, nabaligya by 27,000. So ang total cash, no, is 52,800. So my distribution of losses naman, ang 55,000 nabaligya nila at 27. So ang loss nga na i-reflect pa Japon on their partners capital accounts. So si Q this time may negative na siya nga 610 kay di ba personally solvent sila, so anong obrahon? Ari, may available pa siya nga loan, no? Bayaran na ang outside nga liabilities nga 10,000. Okay, so 42,800 ang bilin. So atong 610 nga balance ni Q, pwede na siya naton ma-offset on the liability ni partnership sa iya. Na so pwede pa siya magamit. So ara ila balances given, then na-close ng account ni Q, no? So payment of partner's loan, ang remaining sang Q nga loan bayaran hasta nga mag-zero. So 41,410 amo na siya ang tungaon ni R kag ni S on their capital balances. So it's all, no? Amo na siya ang ginatawag nga liquidation. So sa lump sum and installment, naga-prepare kita sang statement of realization and liquidation. Kaso the difference lang, no? Dire, kung mapansin nyo, pinsan ang pagbaligya sang non-cash assets or ginhulak danay before maubos baligya ang non-cash assets before nag-distribute sang money. Sa installment, as long na may available nga cash, then pwede na sila kapanghatag on the partners nga capital balances. So that would be all. I hope, no, may naintindihan. So balik ko man permi sa aton nga GC, please try to contact me, no, as much as possible. Try to ask questions so that I know kung naintindihan niyo gid man or wala, or may mga hindi ka mo maintindihan nga terms nga pwede naton i-discuss. Okay, so good day everyone. Thank you for listening.